We come here to verse 42 of the 7th chapter of the Gospel of John. We're in the midst of a rather conflicted conversation as John tells the story involving, to some degree, the religious leaders, but also the crowd itself seems to have some difference of opinion, and they're having a conversation that's going on among them. Some are asserting that based on Jesus and what he says and the story that accompanies him of the miracles he's performed and so on, that he must be the Christ. Others are saying, well, he must be the prophet that had been predicted by Moses. But some are raising a contrary view, saying, well, wait a minute, it seems that this Jesus comes from Galilee. And certainly the understanding from the Old Testament was that the Christ would be born in Bethlehem, because that's exactly what Micah had said. And so they're having this conversation, and we continue to hear the content of the differences as John continues to tell the story in verse 42, where we have u, which is the negation. The chi at the end of it will precede a rough breather, which we have with the feminine singular article here, he, so not he graphe. Graphe, the word for scripture. Of course, we have all kinds of English words, graphics and so on, that are derived from that Greek word. So the writing, the graphe, the scripture, not the scripture apen. So this is a question: does not the scripture apen, from lego I say, this is the third person singular, aorist active indicative, does not the scripture, or did it not say, hoti, that, ek, preposition takes the genitive, to, the genitive neuter article going with spermatos, the sperma, or the seed of David. Dawid, here is the genitive. So does not the scripture say that out of the seed of David, kai, the connective, apo, this is also, preposition takes the genitive from, and then this connects over to tes komes, the village, Bethlehem, of Bethlehem. So of the seed of David, and from the village or the town of Bethlehem, hupo, this is the indeclinable adverb, where, ein, he was, David, so where David was. So doesn't the scripture say that from the seed of David and from the town of Bethlehem where David was, ho Christos, the Christ, erketai, comes? And so this is simply pressing home the point that the scripture, the Old Testament book of Micah in particular, identifies Bethlehem as the town and the seed of David as the lineage of the Christ. And these people are at least apparently betraying some ignorance of the fact that Jesus actually was born in Bethlehem and was of the seed of David. Yet the testimony of the rest of the scripture is clear enough on that point. Some have actually suggested that John here is betraying his own ignorance of the birthplace of Jesus and the lineage of Jesus, but of course that's really rather a silly remark. By the time John is writing, it was common knowledge, and so John doesn't have to spend a lot of time delineating that information. He's simply reporting this to reflect the fact that at the time that these events were happening, people weren't so clear on the subject. They didn't necessarily have a distinct understanding of those particular details of the life and career of Jesus.